Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Daytona DMAX Enduro Championship here at PF International. Myself, Chris McCarthy and Andrew Mother here for today. Andrew, of course, we've got a delayed start to today. As we can see, the weather conditions not playing ball with us this weekend. Just give us an update of the changes that are going to be made to the schedule today.
So yeah, absolutely fantastic effort from everybody here at Daytona DMAX and PF International to get this event running today. I think we're one of the only events in the UK running today. We're going to see a 10-minute qualifying practice and then a 40 minutes race with drivers rolling straight into that race. So unfortunately we won't be able to speak to our drivers after qualifying. But as you can see, the conditions on the circuit, wet. So apart from a wet day, there's no difference there, but these snowbanks and the drifts that we see on the outside of the circuit, they're going to be critical today. You do not want to be heading in those today.
Yeah, so basically no mistakes. I think mistakes are going to be very, very costly, aren't they?
Absolutely. We've already seen a couple of the drivers really having a bit of a fight on their hands. Critical today is keeping engine temperature up, keeping tyre temperature up, keeping everything warm, keeping it nice and smooth. That's going to be the key for a good result here today.
Do you think we're going to see a mixed bag in terms of the qualifying result?
Would not surprise me. We're going to see a lot of yellow flags in this session, Chris. We're going to see drivers maybe getting caught out by themselves, their own drivers, or other drivers getting stuck behind drivers being maybe slower behind the yellow flags. Getting yourself a nice clean grid position, a clear piece of track in this 10 minutes, absolutely crucial for this round of Daytona DMAX.
Well, let's see what happens in qualifying and then let's see what happens over the course of the race. Here we go.
What are you expecting this next 10 minutes qualifying session?
Yeah, well, of course, usually the first lap is under full yellow flag conditions, which means you have to go at half racing speed. But when the conditions are like this, we need to get temperature into those engines. So I think telling the drivers to get up to speed as soon as possible is advisable.
So drivers starting to set representative lap times at the moment. Owen Jenman goes to the top of the leaderboard. He was quite quick in the first attempt at qualifying. He was able to keep the kart going well, so he's just set a 1 minute 52.769 to go into provisional pole position, just ahead of Gus Silveira, who was very, very quick as well. But Bobby Trundley goes to pole position provisionally with a 1 minute 50.891, Chris.
Yeah, very good lap time there from Bobby, and we've got an off into hairpin 2 there. Someone is stranded as you go. Well, that's pretty evident that was someone outbraking themselves.
Yep. Very, very easy to do in these wet conditions. The trouble is the penalty even greater today with the snow. There's someone else has gone off at the approach to Litchfield Bridge. I think we're going to be saying that a lot today.
Yes, that is a very tricky corner. Uphill, and it does catch you out because you are carrying a lot of speed off the banking, and it's very easy to get it wrong as you actually come out the banking, and then that mistake carries through into the approach to the Litchfield Bridge. It's a corner that invites you to take in a lot of speed, and then suddenly becomes very tight once you approach the apex. It's one of those corners you actually have to sacrifice almost to get the run off the bridge. That's why it opens up such a good overtaking opportunity. But in the wet, it's all going to change, as that is now the flag. That is now the flag, and there's more fast laps coming in. Owen Jenman improves to a 1:44.759, but Andy Spencer improves to a 1:44.8 to put him in second place. I was just going to try and see if he's still on the lap. I'm not sure if he is or not.
Mike Coppin comes over the start finish. Where's he going to finish up? He's going to be down in 16th. Can anybody else improve? Doubt it with this yellow flag.
Yellow flag, yeah. Unless they improve vastly through the first 2 sectors, and even slowing off still improve, but I think that'll be that.
No, so it looks like Owen Jenman is going to be our pole sitter for round 2 of the Daytona DMAX Inters Enduro Championship for 2018 here at PF International. We're going to take a short break here in the commentary box as the drivers arrange themselves to kick off this first race of the day here at PFI. We'll be back very, very shortly.
Yeah, I am surprised, to be honest with you, because first time here in the wet, really. So yeah, that's good. I like that.
Andy Spencer behind you, so
yeah, close by about a 10th by the look of it. So nothing in it at all. It's going to be a cracking race, I think, start to finish. So just got to try and keep it on the road, and hopefully my hands don't freeze up and I don't have to pull in and retire like that. So yeah, looking forward to it. Should be good.
What's the plan for the race?
I think stay on the track, mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Try and follow Owen, he's going well. I knew he'd be a benchmark, and just enjoy it and stay on the track.
Good luck.
Easier said than done.
So here we are then at PF International for round 2, the Daytona DMAX Championships 2018. This is our Enduros, and they're heading into what will be a 40-minute race for them today. The qualifying results looked a little bit like this. You should be able to see the grid on your screen. So Owen Jenman was the fastest driver in qualifying. Alongside him on the front row will be Andy Spencer. Row 2 will be Joe Ellis and Jordan Taylor. Row 3 is Nuno Costa and the reigning champion Bobby Trundley. Row 4 is Seb Cook and James Perry. Row 5 is Anthony Kirk and Chris Alcock, who was second last time out at Daytona Milton Keynes. Row 6, the winner from last time out, Chris Hackworth, will start P11. Alongside him on that row will be Curtis Mitchell. Row 7 will be Tim Ellis and Simon Ross, before row 8, which is Gus Silveira and Mike Coppin. Row 9, Tom Eastwood and Dean Walker. Row 10, Leo Stolyarov and John Donnelly. Row 11, Lee Carey and Paul Mason. Row 12, James Browning and Andy Stobart. Row 13 will be Ross Blackwood and Ryan Welch. Row 14 is Nigel Foote and Tony LaCastro. Before, last but not least, row 15 will be Stuart Shearman and James Wattis. Chris, very interesting grid there. What are you expecting over the course of the next 40 minutes?
Well, hopefully everyone getting round safely, but that, of course, isn't going to be certain just due to the conditions. We saw a few offs in qualifying. Let's hope everyone gets through that first corner in one piece. You may have picked up that there was a track going across the snow on the exit of turn 1. That was due to an off during qualifying. Let's hope that doesn't happen on the first lap. A mixed bag in terms of the grid. Some of the heavy hitters towards the front, a few big names in the middle of the field. But hopefully we see a clean race. 40 minutes ahead of us. The team here have done a fantastic job to actually get us into a position where we can go racing. And hopefully the drivers are going to provide a good show for us. It's early days though, second round of the championship. All you've got to do firstly, I think, is rack up those points, get round in one piece and try and finish somewhere towards the front. But after his performance of round 1, no surprise to see Owen Jenman at the front of the grid.
Absolutely, he was 4th place just off the podium at Milton Keynes. What can he do here from pole position as the field starts to come around the final corner? Nerves rising. There'll be a lot of nerves out there with these track conditions today. The track itself, wet and fine, but it going off is going to be a big penalty here today at PF International. We're waiting for the green lights, we're waiting for the race, and it looks like we're good for a go, and we're racing at PF International. And Jenman being challenged straight away by Spencer. Spencer running wide, running
Spencer
very
off.
wide through the snow, and he's going to rejoin in about 4th place. And apart from him, everybody else, Chris, is going to make it through turn 1.
Yeah, Andy Spencer going for the lead there, taking a big risk and paying the price for it. He dropped to 5th place, as you said. Let's hope that's not done any damage for him long term. Other than that, I think we're all getting through just about safely. It looks very tight over the bridge though. Leaders already spacing themselves out. Oh, and we have a spin. Who's that we have off on the exit of the bridge there? 2 drivers off. And apart from that, let's see if we see anything similar down at hairpin 1.
So it's Jenman leading, Bobby Trundley on the move there. I can see, challenging for 3rd place. But pretty clean start for the first 10 or so, Chris. They've already started to string themselves out a little bit, which is just the kind of news that they wanted.
Yeah, very close battle for second, but Jenman's just got his head down here. 3.7 seconds as there comes a challenge for second. Jordan Taylor up the inside, and he's made that move stick. So a good move that from Taylor, and Trundley's going to go with him. So Trundley up to 3rd place. I'll tell you what, Owen Jenman looking very comfortable in these conditions. Likewise, Jordan Taylor. who was quick here last year, as Chris Hackworth. Is that a move on Andy Spencer last time around? It was. So Hackworth has made a further position.
So these are yellow flags out for the stranded carts of
Oh,
Joe Ellis.
oh, and Mike Coppin spins. Well, that was a move there from Gus Silvera, I think, and goes straight into the side of Mike Coppin. Pulls over to let him back through. Now, was that under a yellow flag as well, I wonder?
Well, it must have been, because Joe Ellis's cart is still stationary on the exit of that corner, Chris. And, well, both drivers going again now, but Mike Coppin will not be happy about that.
James Perry is third in that queue. Then it's Nuno Costa who comes flying into the first hairpin. Does he get it stopped in time? No, he doesn't. And who's going to pick up the pieces there? Well, we've still got Perry, Coppin and Ross in this battle. They're side by side into hairpin 2, and it looks like Ross is going to get the run. Coppin's still furiously pointing forward. I think Simon Ross trying to say, this is a race. I can't overtake him.
Oh, and Simon Ross is off. Simon Ross, well, he just about keeps hold of it, but he just dragged his rear right tyre there in the snow, and it tried to sucker him off at the chicane. That was a great save by Simon Ross. He was so busy having a little conversation with Mike Coppin, he nearly dropped it completely out of 7th place. So the order then, after 5 laps, is Owen Jenman now leads again by 5 seconds from Jordan Taylor. Bobby Trundley is 3rd, Chris Hackworth in 4th, Andy Spencer 5th, Mike Coppin up to 6th place now and clear of James Perry in 7th. Anthony Kirk is then 8th, Simon Ross down to 9th, and Gus Silveira into 10th position.
Anthony Kirk has actually gone into 7th place. He's side by side with James Perry going up towards that second hairpin. Perry looks to the outside, and that is a move that has been made in the first half of this lap. Well, a yellow flag out once again here at this second hairpin. Who do we have off now? Someone's off in the chicane.
Very deep off in the chicane. I think it's one of our runners towards the bottom end of the field.
James Wattis, I wonder. We'll have to wait and see. It's
Quite
someone outside of the top 23.
Got to say, though, Owen Jenman, a 1:38.745, Chris, on the last lap around. I'm just looking. He's almost 2 seconds quicker than anybody else in the field as Trundley moves up to 2nd place.
And he's under pressure from Chris Hackworth.
He is indeed. Hackworth has just set his fastest lap of the race so far, 1 minute 40.
Is this a move?
Wide.
And that's a move. Yes, it is. Well, I don't think he meant to do it there, but Hackworth makes a move for 3rd.
Well, Jordan Taylor leaving the door open there, and Chris Hackworth, very experienced, took that opportunity sweetly up the inside and into 3rd place. But now Spencer going to the inside, looking into turn 1. It's all last of the late breakers, and Spencer's going to go through a textbook move there into turn 1. Nicely done by the driver of the number 13.
Comes back from Trunley, and he's lapping quicker than Trunley, so we'll keep an eye on what happens there as the race goes on. Then that's Taylor.
And he's back through.
Yeah, and he's back ahead of Spencer.
So Jordan Taylor retakes 4th place ahead of Andy Spencer as they go. And up the inside goes Spencer. That's a great move by Andy Spencer, and he's through, and he's made it through. A fantastic move there by Andy Spencer, and he's back into 4th place.
Anthony Kirk goes up the inside, and the number 7th in last year's championship, gets back through. So Anthony Kirk up into 8th place, but the best of a bad situation, I think.
Bobby Trundley trying to deal with some traffic. And
Oh!
who's that off? That's one of the back markers. They were trying to scrap it out with Bobby Trundley.
I think Seb Cook has now gone past, or at least was momentarily past, and Chris Alcott catching, and Anthony Kirk spins. Well, Anthony Kirk spinning all on his own, and he's going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4 places as a result. So Nuno Costa up to 8th, Seb Cook up to 9th, Chris Alcott up to 10th, and Dean Walker up to 11th place.
Unfortunate spin there for Kirk, but still plenty of this race to go. The spinner, apologies, down at hairpin 1 was Paul Mason. You can see him falling down the order now, but yeah, it was just, you can see a replay of this one again. Gets just too deep on the brakes, trying to challenge Trundley. I don't know whether Trundley's speed caught him out. Just understeered straight off and into the barriers. Owen
Here
Jenman.
comes this battle out of the last corner. Down the start-finish straight. Are we going to be side by side into turn 1? Nuno Costa on the outside. So who's that going to be on the inside? Is that Seb Cook? Oh, they're 3 abreast coming in towards the Litchfield Bridge. Are we all going to get through safely?
Just about.
Yeah.
Looks like Alcock has got round Cook. A brilliant piece of driving there by our driver who was second place last time out. But this is really, really good stuff from Chris Alcock.
Off the bridge, and he's made a place. So next for him is Nuno Costa. He's past Seb Cook. Now in towards that first hairpin. He's got to just try and keep Cook at bay and go after Costa. Costa runs deep on the brakes, slow on the exit. So these 4 all very close together still. Simon Ross is about 7.5 seconds up the road. So Chris Alcock, if he wants... Oh, and here we go. Nuno Costa deep on the brakes, and he's got the run going into the chicane, Andrew.
And it looks like Alcock's going to hold to the inside. Yes, he's going to have the corner, and Alcock is through. Oh, someone's off deep at hairpin 1. Who is that? They've gone well off. There was a yellow flag on the exit of Litchfield Bridge, and then another one down at hairpin 1.
Owen Jenman is not going any slower, though. He doesn't really need to take any risks, does he? But I think he's at that stage now where he's so confident in what he's doing that it's almost a guarantee that he won't spin.
Just looking down the order, battle going on here for 13th place, just about to come on to the Litchfield Bridge. This is a recovering James Perry.
Yes.
Closing in on Tim Ellis.
This gap's been coming down for quite a long time now, so it's been building up for a while, and I think we're about to see Perry start to challenge Tim Ellis.
And the leader's right behind him as well. A 136.513 has just been put in by Owen Jenman, but he needs to be careful here of these 2 drivers fighting over position who may not be aware that the leader's behind them.
Now, I've got to say, Owen Jenman, the only one really going right to the inside of the circuit to brake for that first hairpin.
And Perry's up the inside.
Oh, and there we go.
Perry's up the inside on hairpin 2, but not able to get the run off the corner. Ellis holds onto that position for now, but look at Jenman, so late on the brakes, getting the back end of the car properly hanging out there.
Seb Cook leading Nuno Costa, heads through turns 1 and 2 on towards the Litchfield Bridge, up towards turn 2. And in chases Anthony Kirk. This is a good little battle developing. 1 second between the 3 of them as they head up onto the Litchfield Bridge. And Dean Walker's trying to close them down as well. Now, there's 4 of them in the line. The top 3 of them are battling for position as they make their way down the bridge. Are we going to see any changes between these 3? All the points do matter. Could be the difference between a championship place. Now, this gap was about 8 seconds, was it, Andrew, when we first picked it up?
It was indeed, but Alcock has just chipped away at this one, kept it nice and consistent. This is a brilliant recovery drive from Chris.
Yeah, so they
back marker involved though.
Oh, and Simon Ross in the 43 there, getting delayed. Chris Alcock, of course, this is his first season doing the Enduros. Brilliant season in the heats last year, but jumped into the Enduros for 1 round at Clay Pigeon and won. And that was enough to convince him to come back and do a full season of it. And finish second at round 1. This, a good recovery drive. Dropped out of the top 20. We're down to 28th was it at the start. But here we go in towards the first hairpin, Andrew.
It is indeed. No yellow flags out at the moment. Will Alcock try? Oh, he's going to try into hairpin 1. He is going to try into hairpin 1. They're side by side off the corner, and Alcock's taking the position. Fantastic move there. Looked like Simon Ross got a little bit squirrely on the brakes, and that's all the invitation that Chris Alcock needed to pop it up the inside, and he's now back up to 7th place.
2 more corners to go. Are we going to see the checkered flag this time, or is this going to be the last lap board going out? Across the line.
Checkered flag is out, and Owen Jenman wins round 2 of the DMAX Inters Enduros here at PFI in an absolute league of his own. No one could deal with the pace of Owen Jenman here today. A 135.613 to finish, and now we wait for the rest of the field to come through. The record books will say that Bobby Trundley finishes second, 21.9 seconds behind Owen Jenman. Chris Hackworth will take third. Really good points for him. 2 podiums to start off his season. And now we're going to wait for Andy Spencer to come round in 4th place. Looks like James Perry has just edged Tim Ellis in that battle for 13th. Very spread out field here. There's Andy Spencer coming across in a very strong 4th position. He's raced well this morning. There's Jordan Taylor, recovered well to 5th. Mike Coppin should be next over the line. Here he comes around the final corner in the blue helmet. Not such a good qualifying, but he's recovered it well. Damage limitation job here today for Coppin. He finishes in 6th place. But here's the real damage limitation job that's going to come round next. Chris Alcock, span on the first lap, recovers back to 7th place. How important a drive could that be at the end of the season? Simon Ross comes home in 8th place, and it's going to be Seb Cook across the line in 9th. 10th place for Anthony Kirk, 11th for Nuno Costa, 12th Dean Walker, 13th for James Perry, 14th for Tim Ellis, 15th for Gus Silvera, 16th for Andy Stobart, 17th for Tom Eastwood, 18th for James Browning, 19th for Ryan Welch, 20th, good top 20 there for James Wattis from the back of the grid, 21st for John Donnelly, 22nd Paul Mason, 23rd Lee Carey, 24th was Joe Ellis after his issue early in the race. A day of what could have been for Ellis. 25th was Tony LaCastro. 26th was Leo Stolyarov. 27th for Ross Blackwood. 28th for Nigel Foote. 29th for Curtis Mitchell. And 30th for Stuart Shearman.
Get out of my face.
How's it feel? How you feeling?
A little bit cold, a little bit. The double wrappings work quite well.
Chris Hackworth, 3rd place. Brilliant start to the season for you. I guess you want to continue this going forward for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I'm happy with 3rd. I think I had the pace to be with the top 2, but obviously by the time I got through to the pack, they were gone. But it's fun driving at PF in the wet. So, but I didn't want to take too many risks, but it was good fun. So I'm happy with 3rd.
I think you've had a solid result. Well done, well done. Good start to the season. Bobby Trunley, new suit. Well, we haven't quite seen it yet, but
I changed back in the old suit, so.
Oh, did you? Oh, well, there we go. That was a pointless statement then. Are you happy with 2nd?
Yeah, I'm happy for 2nd. Owen drove fantastically all throughout the race. He obviously knows PFI like the back of his hand, obviously, but yeah, I enjoyed it. 6th to 2nd, I say that's a pretty good drive.
I think it is as well. Well done, Bobby. What was that? Fail, epic fail. Owen.
Hello, Chris.
How are we?
I'm pretty well, yeah, not bad at all. Thank
Yeah, I thought you'd say
you. I'm not quite as cold as you off that snowball.
No. Brilliant drive. Obviously cleared off with it. Did you expect to win by that much?
No, not at all, to be honest with you. I was quite surprised, really. I've not done many laps here, like Bobby said, at all. So I've only done 1 race, actually. So yeah, quite surprised. I didn't know where the pace was going to be, whether it's going to be good or bad, and yeah, I was quite surprised. So it's all good.
So I mean, where did it come from? Was it just like taking risks as the race went on? Was it or?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I obviously had a brilliant car. And I seemed to just find the lines fairly early on and just stuck with them and created a big gap, and then sort of held it for a bit of the race, and then heard I lost the fastest lap in the middle. I thought I'd better push again to get an extra point, and managed to get it back at the end.
Oh, jeez. You did have a... I'm going to keep my cool. You did have a brilliant race at round 1, 4th. Now 1st. You're in contention for the championship, right?
It looks that way, yeah. I mean, obviously I need to thank Sussex Car and Motorhome Centre for all the damp training they've given me. Certainly paid off out there today in the damp conditions, so big well done to them.
Well done, Owen. Well done. Great to have you with us for the season. Andrew, I'm just going to wipe that off casually. Yeah, just a little bit. Your thoughts on the race? Obviously it did get pretty spread out, but we were expecting that.
Spread out, but it was all about keeping it on track today, keeping the focus there and keeping out of trouble. That's what the top 5 or 6 did. What I'm loving is that this championship's wide open, isn't it? You've got 5 or 6 guys there. On a day like today, spread out, but when it gets to the good weather later in the season, it's going to be some fantastic racing in this Inters Enduro class. I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So here's to the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, next up we're going to be at Rye House, so if you want to be on the grid, head to our website, daytonamax.co.uk.